Good morning, guys. Just about to start my walk. Two topics blended into one. How to deal with electrical, another idea, with tip-up panels. And what do you want to do if you want to run solid copper in a single jacket? So if you want to run a jacketed electrical, I think that's probably pretty straightforward now that we've had some ideas out there about using baby powder for sweeps. But there is no way you are going to get that through a 3/4 inch, which they normally use, and you're not going to get it through the flex tubing if the flex is already up in place. Now, we did push some through a flex tube if it was on the ground, where we could just straighten it right out and then cut the tubing and then carry on from there, push it up into the ceiling as all one piece. Then you can push it down your solid when you go inside your walls and such. So that worked okay. We didn't do a full pull. I just had a length about, I don't know, maybe 20 feet that we were using for a welding breaker out at the street side. Or you're going to have to go up in pipe size. And this is again where I think Two Beers idea had a good idea, and that is I'd never even thought of baby powder before. It's everywhere, especially on your sweeps. Drop some baby powder in on the sweeps and save yourself some hassle. If you started at the beginning, it'll probably help going through the channel, but might have run out by the time you go to make that last sweep to come up if you're doing a slab. So you will have to use a bigger pipe. There's no question about that. But will you have to go up to something like 1.5 or 2 inch pipe? Well, first off, I'm not sure that I've ever seen 1.5 there. And a 2 inch pipe coming up through the floor where you're going to have a receptacle when your wall itself is only 4 inch. Hi, biga. Oops, I forgot to include what my buddy and I talked about, and that is 2 conductors in one jacket. Now, under the slab, we'd probably run all 2 inch, pull the wire before we put it into the receptacle box, which means the box and the 1 inch sweep would be easier. We could just do that afterwards. And then from Canada, we'll just bring some 2 inch to 1 inch reducers. But that leads me into what would you do if you're using those 60 by 270 or 60 by 300 tip-up panels. Remember, we're hopefully doing our design on the 60 times table so that you only have slabs going up. And then if you need to finish, because of your design, you're trying to keep in that 60 times tables plus 30. So you're taking a 60 by 60 tongue and groove block and you're cutting it in half to get your 30s. That is all discussed in other videos about managing waste of AAC when you consider these blocks are 180 pesos each. You don't want to start getting into a massive waste situation. But if you think about the tongue and groove, first off, on one side, you got a groove. So already you're offset from your wall because of the groove is going on the inside, but you still have to gap away from your concrete. And so you've got a good size kickback in there. So whether you're running single conductor braided or single conductor rigid, or doing what we were just talking about, and that is 2 conductors in one jacket, you've got a groove there that you could come up in the wall and get ready for putting in your box. So, they are going to be tight to the pillar, but better than extension cords, right? And probably fits with the whole idea of end tables for the bed. On the other side, you've got a tongue. If it turns out that you're doing your 60 times tables for that full length of that wall, then just cut the tongue off. Just cut the tongue off for X amount of distance you need to go up, or simply cut part of the tongue off with your multi-tool, depending on where your pipe is going to come up through the floor. Depending on also whether you're going to do our design where we had only pillar profile on the outside of the house, and we brought our walls in just a little bit so the pillars did not show on the inside of the house, so I can get my end table up against the wall. Yeah, whole other story. But if you're doing your 60 times tables with you're going to have to finish with your 60 by 60 blocks that you need to cut in half. Then again, you could do our method that we did before and just simply drill down inside those blocks, and you got her beat. You can bring your electrical up. I think that's one of the easier ways. And I have to give a big shout out to my buddy who was over. We were having, I don't drink coffee, having a drink and shooting the breeze about the duplex build that we might do here this coming fall, and kind of eager to get going on that. He's eager to see how these residential tip-up panels work relative to some of the ones that he's been involved with here for, you know, warehousing type buildings, etc. here in Canada. So there we go. Later, Gators.